My name is Daniel, and for 6 years I believed my marriage was solid ground. Sarah and I met in college, built a life brick by brick, and I never once thought to question her. But that Tuesday evening changed everything. Her text lit up my screen at 7:42 p.m. Working late again, babe, don't wait up. Simple. Routine. She'd sent messages like this 100 times before. I almost didn't think twice about it. But something in my gut, a quiet whisper I usually ignored, told me to look closer this time. I set my phone down, poured a coffee, and waited. I wasn't planning to snoop. I never had before. But curiosity crept in slowly, the way smoke fills a room before you notice the fire. I opened my laptop and pulled up the building's public parking camera feed, the one her company shared with employees for security updates. It was meant for convenience, nothing more. I told myself I was just checking if her car was there. Nothing suspicious about that. The feed loaded, grainy and slow. The lot was empty. Not a single car. Not even the night security guard's vehicle. My stomach tightened, just slightly, the way it does before a storm. I called the building's front desk, using the number listed for after-hours inquiries. A tired voice answered, confirming what the camera had already shown me. The office had closed at 6 p.m. sharp, just like every other Tuesday. No late shifts scheduled. No exceptions. No Sarah. I sat there staring at my phone, her message still glowing on the screen, the words suddenly feeling heavier than before. Working late again, babe. Don't wait up. I read it 3 times, searching for some hidden explanation, some innocent reason my mind hadn't considered yet. But nothing made sense. Something was wrong. I typed my reply carefully, choosing every word like a chess move. Strange. Your own office building has been empty since 6 p.m. I hit send before I could second-guess myself, then set the phone face down on the table. My hands were steady, but my heart wasn't. Minutes passed like hours. I imagined her staring at her screen wherever she really was, scrambling for an answer. When the phone finally buzzed, I almost didn't want to look. Her reply was short. Well, you're checking cameras now? Weirdo. Dismissive. Deflecting. Exactly what someone does when they're caught but not ready to admit it. I didn't respond right away. Instead, I opened our shared banking app, another convenience we'd set up years ago for transparency. A charge from an hour earlier caught my eye immediately. A hotel downtown, 20 minutes from her office, the kind of place people don't visit for client meetings. My chest tightened. I told myself there could be an explanation. Maybe a colleague's birthday. Maybe a work event I'd forgotten about. But deep down, a colder truth was forming, one I wasn't ready to say out loud yet. I needed proof before I let myself believe it. I grabbed my keys and drove toward that hotel, my hands gripping the wheel tighter than necessary. The city lights blurred past as thoughts spiraled. Memories of anniversaries, late-night conversations, promises whispered in the dark. Had all of it been a lie? I parked across the street, engine off, watching the entrance like a stranger in my own life. 15 minutes passed before I saw her. Sarah, walking out laughing, phone in hand, hair slightly messy, heels in one hand instead of on her feet. And beside her, a man I recognized instantly, her supposed, just a friend from work, Marcus. I didn't confront them right there. Some part of me needed to see more, to understand how deep this went before I shattered everything with a single sentence. I followed at a distance as they walked to his car, watched him open the passenger door for her like it was second nature, like this wasn't the first time. She leaned in and kissed him briefly before getting in, quick but unmistakable. My throat went dry. 6 years of marriage, and this was the truth hiding beneath all those working late texts. I sat in my car long after they drove away, staring at nothing. When I finally got home, I didn't rage. I didn't throw anything or scream into the silence of our empty house. Instead, I sat at the kitchen table and waited, the same way I always had, except now everything felt different. Around midnight, her key turned in the lock. She walked in, exhausted expression perfectly rehearsed, ready to sell me another excuse about deadlines and demanding managers. Hey babe, sorry I'm late, work was insane, she said, dropping her bag by the door like nothing had happened. I looked at her calmly and asked, how was the hotel? Her face changed instantly, the practiced exhaustion replaced by something closer to panic. What? "What are you talking about?" she stammered, but her eyes betrayed her before her words could catch up. I laid it all out slowly: the empty parking lot, the closed office, the hotel charge on our shared account, the moment I watched her walk out with Marcus, the kiss I wasn't supposed to see. Each sentence landed like a stone dropping into still water, rippling through the space between us. She didn't deny it after the third detail. She just sat down, silent, the truth finally too heavy to hide. "How long?" I asked quietly, my voice steadier than I felt inside. She hesitated, staring at her hands, before finally whispering, 8 months. 8 months of texts like tonight's, 8 months of trust I'd handed her without question, 8 months of a life I thought was real crumbling into something unrecognizable. She tried explaining, something about feeling unseen, about Marcus listening in ways I supposedly didn't. I let her talk, not because I needed her reasons, but because I needed to hear how easily she could justify erasing everything we'd built. When she finished, I simply said, "I already knew everything before I asked." That night, I packed a bag and left for my brother's house, needing distance to think clearly. Over the following weeks, the full picture emerged: co-workers who'd suspected, friends who'd stayed quiet, a pattern of lies stretching further back than 8 months. Sarah tried reaching out repeatedly, apologies mixed with excuses, promises to change now that she'd been caught. But something had fundamentally broken, not just her loyalty, but my ability to ever fully trust her words again. Every working late text from now on would carry a shadow of doubt I couldn't unsee. Some truths, once discovered, can never be unlearned. I filed for divorce 3 weeks later, choosing clarity over comfort, self-respect over the fear of starting over. Sarah fought it at first, insisting we could rebuild, that one mistake shouldn't define 6 years. But I'd learned something crucial through this experience. It wasn't one mistake, it was 8 months of deliberate choices, each text a small betrayal disguised as normalcy. Walking away wasn't easy, but it was necessary. Today, I'm rebuilding my life on my own terms, wiser and more careful about who earns my trust. And somewhere out there, Sarah is still sending someone else those same familiar texts, hoping they never check the cameras. People often ask me if I regret checking that camera feed, if ignorance would have been kinder than the truth. My answer is always the same: no. That single moment of doubt saved me years of living a lie I didn't know I was trapped inside. Trust should never be blind. It should be earned every single day, through actions that match words. If something feels off, even slightly, listen to that feeling instead of silencing it. Sometimes the smallest inconsistency, an empty parking lot, a closed office, a strange charge, is the thread that unravels an entire hidden life waiting to be exposed.